You're listening to Inside the Minds podcast with Dante Marsh and Ryan Hyde, where we talk about sports, life, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about.
31-yard penalty to support pass interference call against the Lions this year. Curly into the hands, and there's Dante Marsh with the block. And it's going to be a pick six for the veteran. 29th career interception. Almost on cue. 80-yard return for the 10-year veteran.
Dante was good.
What's going on? What's going on, good buddies?
This ain't gonna work live, so we're just gonna wing it. Forget going live. We're good. We're good. All right. Welcome to today's show on the Inside the Minds podcast. Today's guest is current Saskatchewan Roughrider safety Mike Edem. How's it going today, Mike?
It's going good. It's going good. Just getting ready for a big family dinner, and sister's in town. It's her birthday on the 1st, so it's celebratory time right now in the family.
Nice.
Definitely.
Brother Dante, how's it going, brother?
It is super ugly outside.
What? I thought it wasn't ugly yesterday. What happened?
No, it's ugly. Raining, like it's Buffalo minus the snow.
Hey, shit.
Crazy, man. The world is in disarray. So hopefully it thrives. It's not supposed to rain tomorrow. So
Hey Dante, before you got the cigar, remember during the last training camp when we had the cigar together?
Yeah.
So that night I got back to my room and I was talking to Nick. And Nick was like, "Were you smoking a cigar outside the facility?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Okay." And he walked away and I thought about it. And I was like, "The fuck did I just do? I just smoked a cigar right outside the team facility during training."
Hey man. When I was in BC, every year we go up to training camp, right? And what is that? Abbott? Was it Abbott's? Chilliwack? Kamloops.
Kamloops now, yeah.
I was there so long, we went to a couple different places, but Kamloops, yeah. So Wally and Benny, during training camp, they'll sit outside, like right outside the dorm thing.
Yeah.
In Kamloops, it looked like a big ass hotel, right?
Right.
They sit out in the chairs and they smoke Cubans. So I remember a couple years, me and Banks was like, "Hey man, we need them cigars, man." So in training camp, we sit out there and smoke. So it'd be all good, man. You grown, you handle your business.
I mean, yeah. I mean, shit. It was just, you reflect back on one of the things you did, and I was like, yeah, that's gotta be up there for me. Because it was more the reaction of the young guys when they came in, because they were like, "Yo, were you smoking a cigar at the facility just today?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they were kind of like, "Oh, okay." And they kind of gave me that look like, he must be a vet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The older guys, veteran guys get away with a little bit of stuff, right? So no, I enjoyed it. Sometimes I think like, damn, I should have took that job. But I miss y'all though, man. Y'all, it was kind of rough from what I hear. So you gotta update me on that.
I mean, I wish I had an update to give. I think like most of the guys right now, was kind of waiting to hear back from the team to see where the direction teams are going with certain guys and contracts and stuff like that. And I'm just like the rest of the guys, just sitting and waiting. And hopefully, we hear something soon, and hopefully we're part of plans. But like, you know how this business goes, Dante.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you hit 30 plus, how they view you start changing. Just,
The only
and that's speaking for myself, but generally there's a process the off season, there's a process the off season's got to take, and I think that's just where we are right now in that process. Is just the waiting period for teams to finalize what the plans are and figure out how they're going to spend money. And I think you've seen guys start getting signed, so there's probably conversations being had behind closed doors right now, and then hopefully your phone rings and you're one of them guys having those conversations.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a sad reality. The business side always sucks. I was blessed and fortunate to be on the positive side for a pretty long time, and we used to have these conversations every offseason, try to get that signing bonus.
And that's exactly what it is. You have that conversation every offseason. So I've been with Sask. I'm going on my 6th year with Sask now. So we've had this process every offseason, and it's always worked out well. So for me, I have no worries. They know what I bring to the table. They know how I approach the game. They know what kind of passion that I play with. It's a little bit of a reckless style when you talk about how getting up there in age. So that's something I got to be conscious of and tweak a few things to my game.
But I'm gonna be the first to tell you. So real quick, at almost 44, I bullshit you not. I could probably play again at my age. When you start listening, you can't listen to the fake ass couch potato fans. You can't listen to the fake wannabe armchair GMs.
Oh yeah.
When you start as a player, when you start drinking the Kool-Aid, or social media has kind of messed it up too. Don't go on blogs and shit and stuff. Don't listen. You don't use it, you lose it. I'm telling you. At the end of the day, even my last year at 35, I was like shit. Even at 38, I was still out here running. I'm still running around right now. So that because I still train that way. I think all the years I played in BC, and I played with some great players: Baron Miles, Carl Kidd, Otis Floyd, Baron Simpson. Like it's me, Corey Banks, Ryan. Like when you start listening to that shit, that's when you like instantly get old. Like B Miles was picking 8, 9, 10 balls off.
Right.
He's getting old and long in the tooth and all this. And then you've seen his last year I think it got in his head, because you don't go from perennial all-star to no good overnight or in one off season. So as long as you
you're definitely right. But in terms of what I was trying to refer to, for me personally, it's just more of a body preservation.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no doubt.
Dante, when you play this game, one of the best abilities is your availability. You know what I'm saying? Can't help a team win games during the cold tub.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So for me, like I played every game last year except the last game, and I got hurt, right? And it's like I just look back at the situation. I was like, okay, I'm getting older. These ball carriers are getting bigger and faster, So for me, it's like, okay, how can I make sure that I get my job done and still be able to play the next snap? Okay, pad level. What was my pad level on that play? Okay, where was my strike zone? Where was I aiming for? For me, having these conversations kind of helps me figure out, okay, I fixed that problem and I'm going to use that solution moving forward when I'm encountered with that same problem, right? And I'm just trying to be out there for my team all 20-something games, whatever it takes to get to the Grey Cup, and the older we get, it's unfortunate, but, our bones do get softer. We're not young no more. And I ain't gonna lie to you and say, it's a young man's game. You know that.
It is.
But as an older dog, you gotta take pleasure in that competition and always trying to shut down the noise. That's where you gotta dwell almost and keep proving people wrong. You know what I'm saying? But you are right. I gotta stick to my guns. I gotta stick to what got me thus far.
We had that conversation.
Right. But that doesn't mean I can't put a silence on that pistol just to make it a little more efficient. It doesn't mean I can't.
I'm not saying you per se.
Yeah.
I'm just speaking in general terms.
Right.
I think because you got to remember now too, 20, 30 years ago, if you blew out your knee, you was done.
Right.
With medicine and technology,
Right.
you know, Rob Wilson did it in a time frame before it was popular. Like he got hurt that same season, come back playing the Super Bowl.
Right.
Jerry Rice, 1 year. Those used to be career-ending injuries. So now, I remember I tore my MCL twice, one on this knee, one on the other one, and they 9-game me back then, like 2007. That's like once they put you on the 9-week.
9-game. People don't even know about the 9-game. That's a whole nother conversation to have.
You couldn't come back though back then. They couldn't pull
Right.
you off of it. So when I did mine, it was a 3rd degree. Like it could have, required surgery. But I was like, no, ain't nobody cutting on my lower extremities. The shoulders is different. But you ain't cutting on my legs. So they put me on the 9-game. Everybody thought, oh man, his season over. He gonna get out of shape and shit. I went home. I left limping in a robo brace. I came back backpedaling in 5 weeks.
Right.
Ready to play. So I think you attribute that to, for me personally, I was always a workout dude. Like I always, ever since a little kid.
I'm still in the gym.
Yeah, so your injury's not gonna last that long, man.
I mean, I won't lie to you, man. I still love playing the game. Like my family, I swear they're all in cahoots. They be trying to talk to me about retirement, trying to get me to talk about it. And I just, like, since the season ended till now, I've just been dodging retirement conversations. Just
Don't do it, Mike.
like,
Don't do it, Mike.
And every time they try to get you, like, you be having a good time. I'm drinking with my dad, and then watching the FIFA game. Yeah, I think he notices, okay, Mike's a little relaxed, and he's like, all right, pause the game. That's what you gonna do with ball. And it's like, that way, pause the game. like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, but for me, I still love playing. And the love of chasing that cup, especially when you've never had it, that shit gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And then for me, watching a guy came to the league, like a big bro, watching him from college, like Enoch, to see him win the Grey Cup and play the capacity, have an impact that he did at his age, man, I'm like, I can't stop now.
So you know who this is the best advice I could give anybody. So Milt Stegall, it's like I call him Uncle Milt, right?
Right.
I lived in Atlanta. Me, Corey, Otis, like we used to Darian Durant, we used to be like Terrence, we used to be deep, like in off-season training together, right? And he would be like, listen, young Marsh, play till the wheels fall off. Because when it's over, it's over. And for us to train, because when I came in the league, Milt was still playing. He still played, what 4 or 5 years once I got to the league. So once I had moved from California to Atlanta for those 7 years, we got real close. He basically showed me and Corey how to do our own contracts. You don't need an agent no more. You know your value. Do this, do that. Get your money structured this way. Right. He gave us a shitload of game, right? So he would tell me, just you got to play till you can't play no more, because see, you're going to be a civilian much longer in life than you are going to be whatever your occupation is. Right. And from the time, I know for us guys here in the States playing Pop Warner, from the time you start playing Pop Warner till the end, you're evading and running away from that thing that's on the ground that you see when the sun is out. It's your shadow. Right. And you just constantly in a chase, trying to keep from your shadow to catch up with you. And I was blessed and fortunate to play long enough and never have I didn't have to go out. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't on my own terms because I wanted to stop playing. It was some financial ramifications with Mr. Wally Bueno, right? But I still had my health, still playing at a high level. I wasn't forced out through injury or my body failing me. So that's why I don't have no regrets. I played super long, played in 3 Grey Cups, 1, 2. Right. I mean, it is what it is. But what God has for you is for you, regardless. Like I was married 14, 15 years, went to high school with my ex-wife, 2 beautiful children, the whole 9, ended up getting a divorce. And I'm not going to sit here and lie. I think me being a professional football player contributed to some of that. But I would do it all over again because that's for me. God said, since I was a little kid, you're blessed with this, right? So it's tough, bro, when the family and friends,
Yeah. I mean,
they not running out of that tunnel. They don't get that. They don't get that.
and that's what I try to tell them. Like, I talk to my wife and my older sister because they're like, man, he's still gonna go out there. And I'm like, no doubt, 100%. And I was like, listen here, when we moved to Canada when I was 12, I used to get in trouble, a whole lot of trouble. Getting out of court, trying to beat charges with my dad to the point my dad stopped going with me. And I started playing soccer. But then soccer was something essentially that I did because of the school I went to. So when we moved away from that area, the kids in that area played football. So I really started playing football because it allowed me to hang out with my friends after school for extended periods of time, right? So for me, I gained the identity as a football player, kind of gave me a family, kind of made me feel like I belong, right? So now as a child, this thing has become a passion, to dream, to the point where it's paid my bills and, you know, allowed me a certain style of life that I would not have without playing football. So essentially I told him, I said, listen, it's like trying to tell Batman that he got to put the mask down, shut the cave down, just live his life as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Knowing that he got the money and the funds to be able to go back to be Batman. But for some reason, at some point, he just knows he got to put the mask down and just become Bruce Wayne. Like, you watch the movie, he fights with that concept every movie, because when you've done something for so long, you essentially become it. And you know what it's like when you play 10 years. They start calling you a life, you know? And one of the things I love from Coach Shaz that kind of makes it easy for me to say, okay, I can walk away and still keep that passion. Coach Shaz always talked to me about, once you play X amount of years, you don't have to stop being a football guy. You can leverage football in other ways to keep that passion and that game burning, right? So for me, you know, I've done some things with the university that I played at that, you know, I'm setting things up for the future when they can join the staff and coach there. So that's an aspect of my life that keeps that football passion, you know, going, right, for me. But other than that, you know, I've been lucky to make some good financial moves that makes walking away from the game not so much tied to the financial. You know? The one reason that I want to, you know, maybe play one or two more and shut it down is because, you know, growing up, my dad was always a business, career-oriented guy, a politician in Nigeria. So he was never around, not because he didn't want to be around, because he had to go work and provide us with a lifestyle. And when we moved to Canada and he was home more than he was in Nigeria, I realized how separate we were, because I learned to do so much without him, right? And now we're forced to be in the house together and coexist. And, you know, it took a while for me to realize, like, yo, there's things we got to work through as father and son that we didn't, because we were so far apart because he had to go work. And for me, I don't think leaving my wife with a baby and 2 Great Danes and a business to run and going to work for 6 months, I don't think I'm doing right by him, because I went through that. So I don't want to put him through that. So I know for me, in that early stage when he's a baby, I can get away with playing 1 or 2 more. But I know for me, I'm closer to the end than I am the middle of the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah. What I'm trying to do now is see, I got these X amount of snaps left. I'm trying to give to somebody, and I'm trying to empty the clip.
You got the
I'm not trying to bring anything back. I'm not trying to bring nothing back. You know, so like I said, the process, I do want to stay with SAS. I love the coaches. You know, last year was tough. Some of the things we went to internally as a team, I don't think people really understand the depths of it. Like, you take the game against Winnipeg where there's a flu that hits the team. The sight of that locker room before the game was a scary one. You're seeing teammates trying to squeeze IVs out of bags in the teammates' IV line so they can get enough fluid in them so they can just get ready for warm-up.
Wow.
People don't understand how demoralizing that is for team getting ready to go out, and still these guys get up, put the eye black on, drink the fluids, do what's necessary to go out and put on a show, knowing their health is not doing so hot.
Yeah. And not even show that they're not feeling so hot. Like you said, go there and put on a show, right? Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
these guys are hurting.
Yeah.
Going out there and still asked to be a warrior and judged against guys who are full health, full tilt.
Yeah. And know that you're hurting.
Judged by wins and losses. They don't say, oh, they were hit by the flu, this. No, it's like, okay, they lost the game. But for our team, the things we went through that game, that pregame, man, we were flying guys in that morning of the game, trying to get guys caught up to the game plan. You know, trying to, even some of the guys that were coming had the flu and they were back home. So we're still bringing sick guys to come help us play. You know, and that's the part of the story people don't really understand. Like, it's hard to come back from that as a team when you've seen that. Like, and then we had injuries, COVID. Like, our team persevered through a lot, and we had a fighting chance right to the very end.
Yeah. So
when you look at things from a great scheme of things, like, yeah, it was a bad year, but we can't just cast it to the side and say it was a bad year. We didn't learn from it, because that's how you're gonna get better. You need to own it, learn from it.
Yeah, that's right.
But
Yeah.
But internally as a player, that team, we went through a lot and still had a fighting chance at the end.
Yeah. That sounds like that 2011 team I was on. Like we started out, we had all the opportunities or all the excuses to make in the world. We were removed from BC Place for 2 seasons, playing at that makeshift while they redid the roof. You know, there were some changes. You know, we brought Casey back, who's a good friend of mine, and that didn't work out well. And then it got to a point I was in my 8th, 9th year, and you know, we jumped out to 1-6.
Right.
Wally started bringing us veteran guys who were making some money into the office. And like, you know, my sense is, man, you know, it's not the coaches, it's not us. I mean, and if you guys don't get this thing turned around, you know what's going to happen, right? I already knew what he was talking about. So at the end of the day, that probably would never ever again happen in pro sports in history. Like, to go from 1-6 to running the table and then hosting the championship and winning it.
Right.
So
if people don't realize, we played a game, Cody, our starting quarterback was out, our backup was out, our third string, a rookie, played against Toronto, the team that won the Grey Cup. We had 2 receivers that were healthy. We had fullbacks playing receiver. Tuck is out here running routes. We have our running backs running routes. But still, we're in the game to the 4th quarter competing. People don't realize how hard that is on those guys that have to step in because of the COVID situation. Like, I get we get paid to produce, but under those circumstances, not a lot of people come out and produce. Let's just be honest.
See, this is the thing. People who've never put on the helmet, people who've never played, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm giving reality. We talk reality on this show, this platform, right? People who've never played high level football. It's a big difference, high school to junior college and some D3. I'm talking about Division I, Power 5, Group of 5,
right?
FCS, and NFL and CFL, right? It's a big ass difference. And when you get to the pro level where you actually getting paid, with no NIL when I was in college, you get money, you're in trouble. But you're getting paid, some damn good money, getting paid.
Right.
You know? People still will view you as it's still entertainment, and they don't. And I said this. I've told this story where I made the analogy, and you kind of touched on it a few minutes ago. Playing professional football, you have to be Superman. You got to be Clark Kent, then you got to jump in the phone booth, put on your Superman outfit, and go be Superman. Then after practice, you got to jump back in the phone booth, come back out as Clark Kent. You got to do that all through the week. Then on game day, you can't have no off days. You got to be able to be Clark Kent, be a father, a husband, boyfriend, fiance, son, brother, uncle, stand-up guy in society. Right. I'm not condoning putting your hands on nobody. Let's get that straight. But I was in locker rooms for so many years. I'm 43, at least 30-something plus years I've been playing football, right? And I can see how these transgressions happen in public because can't nobody tell me about stress. If you work a regular job and you worried about a 60-day, 90-day evaluation, and we get evaluated every single day, not only by your employer that's trying to replace your ass, but somebody who's sitting on the couch that's watching you on TV, getting on a blog talking shit. So that's stress.
You don't realize, just add what you say, like you walk into the building, right? There's a team lunch. You decide to get your lunch and go to the car and have lunch because you want to call your wife. The GM sees you walk out. Right there is an evaluation of what? Being a team guy. Are you a team guy or you're not a team guy? People don't realize, like, you get evaluated from the moment you step on the grounds. You know, how you can be talking to your teammate, right? And the GM walks by and you're over here dropping the N-word, doing this and doing that and doing that. That's an evaluation, a moment right there. He just got a glimpse of how you communicate, who you really are. So if you go talk to him in a new way or in a way that's opposite of what he just heard, then he's like, this guy's, let me just assess him a little longer. Like every job has his, every job's got his stress factor and his difficulties. Right. But I think it's extremely hard when you're being evaluated on a daily basis, like a daily basis. Everything you do is being evaluated.
And some of it has something to do with your job.
Right. Jones used to be one of those guys that, Jones called me one time in his office and he was like, fuck you don't know in practice. And I'm like, practicing? It's like, we give you a day off and you're fucking around. I was like, what do you mean? And he put on a practice clip. And it was a sideline. I was on the sideline. I had my jersey on. I was on the sideline. I was just laughing with the DBs. He's like, if you're not going to practice, don't distract the guys at practice. Wow. Being evaluated when on my day off.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, I'm giving a day off. I'm still being evaluated. So it's like, like that's a scrutiny nobody wants to live under.
Yeah.
Like, nobody wants to be micromanaged, feel like, but we got to accept there's cameras when we do our job. There's every step is evaluated. You breaking the ball and you get it back down, the coach is gonna ride you on how the one step you took was not good enough and it could have been a pick six. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so crazy how much evaluation goes through the process of a day-to-day prep for a game, let alone the game itself.
Yeah.
And I mean, Shah told you right though. Like I think I shared that with you in training camp. Like, dude, I come out there in my cleats still. I mean, I know that rubs some people the wrong way, but that's me. That's Marsh. I'll be 50 still out there in my cleats coaching backpedaling. That's just what I do because the game has done so much for my life. It's afforded me to live a fantasy life for 12 years of my life. It allowed me to buy things that I never would have been able to afford had I not played football. The most important thing, it got me education. Got a bachelor's degree, master's degree. I'm teaching, coaching, training. It took an inner city kid from Oakland, California, and took me to see the world, to see things and be exposed to things that had it not been for football, I would have never been exposed to. And the relationships. I think the biggest thing that a lot of former athletes, well, not a lot of former athletes, but people don't realize it's not the money. Money, you gonna make money. I'm doing good. I'm okay. I'm not making my football money yet again, but I'm doing pretty good. Right. But I'm doing what I want to do and I love it. Right.
Yeah. Mike, you had a thought there. Do you remember what that thought was?
Yeah. Like you said, like we do it. We don't do it for money. We do it because we love it. Right. I remember 18 moving out to Quebec, Lettingsville, Quebec, to go play CJ. I don't speak a lick of French, not one word in French, right? I go out there and my DB coach doesn't speak a word of English. I meet him and we say about 10 words to each other. Bonjour, hi, I'm Mike. He says his name, okay. Says a few, and that's it. Go to practice the next day. Yo, he's having a full-blown like full French. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, I'm effed. Like, this is, but your brain's like, wait, if you just watch the steps. So I'll go, I used to be in the middle. I used to like going first in line. That was my first time I started going last. Because I was like, I don't care what he says, but if I just go last,
Yeah.
and I watch the guys in front of me go, and maybe when I go, I won't be as off or so far left as to what he's teaching, right? Maybe the few words he can tell me can help me coach me up to a point that I'm getting it right. But for me, that was just a monumental moment in my career, because it was just like I was in a foreign place, no mom, no dad. I was just out there for football, and I had to decide right there and then, do I really want to do this? And it was an easy yes for me, because I was like, man, game day came. Yeah, I messed up on a few plays, but the flying around, hitting people, and crowd cheering, chanting. And like I said, you want to be Batman forever.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm pretty sure you ask yourself every training camp, man, do I really want to keep doing this shit? Like I used to do that.
Dante.
Talk about you when you going through the. Well, see, I think you old enough to have went through some real double days.
Listen, my first camp with Wally, bro, the 2 days with Wally, bro. It was a real B Stu was my roommate. So B Stu an old head, right? So I guess B2's been through some camps to know, he knew what to expect. Man, there was one night we went, I think it was like day 3. So you used to have the morning practice, go for lunch, get a little downtown, and then fire it up again. So, we did this for 3 days straight. And I remember I went in my account, I looked at my bank account, and I said, how much do I need to finish my degree? How much I got? It's gonna take me 3 years, okay? How much it's gonna cost me to live in a student budget of 3? I gotta keep playing. Bro, I sat there and I literally did the math. I said, no, I'm not there. I gotta keep playing. Like, yo, my body was throbbing. That's when I started taking supplements. Like, I know guys, I see guys with the shakers. Like, yo, what's in there? And you're like, oh, I'm taking this. There was a guy at Craig Rowe. Craig Rowe. He used to have the art machine, right? He used to he was more electric with the art machine, right? I hurt my calf one time, and I was willing to do anything, because I remember Wally said you cannot make the team if you're not on the field. He's like, I don't care. He's like, rookies, if you get hurt, it's over with. He's like, vets, if you get hurt, it's a lot harder for me to, vouch for you, right? So I'm sitting there, like, damn, I gotta get back on the field. So, they're doing the therapy, nothing's working. So I look at Roll's like, I can fix that for you. You just let me ARP it. It's gonna hurt. And that decision for you to realize, like, okay, I don't know what this is, but I got to get back on that field. You know what I'm saying? Like, that mindset that you breed over time playing football, like that, got to find any way to keep moving, keep crawling, keep fighting. It's like, you carry that mindset through life, life's going to be a breeze.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's definitely a good battle testing.
Oh, yeah. Training camp
for your life after. Because if
you running on training camp on one toe, you got blisters on all 9 toes, nails falling off. You taping buddy taping toes together, just trying to make through
the. Yeah, it's tough.
Maybe that's why Chris Rainey's feet are so messed up. I don't know if you've seen pictures of Chris's feet, but they're nasty. They're nasty.
Chris from Florida, he probably was walking barefoot in the swamp somewhere, man.
Only players I know that got good feet that play football, punters and quarterbacks.
I have nice feet.
Man, you have nice feet.
Listen to me. I'm not even listening to me.
You wore cleats for how many years? About 20-something years.
I don't have. I promise you, people can't believe I have nice ass feet. Not a corn on my foot, no bunions, no nothing.
Now listen,
I used to
He's
when I was
he's
playing.
put
I used
moisture
to
on
get,
him.
no, I used to get. I used to get. I'd take my daughter. My daughter just turned 14 yesterday. So when I was still playing,
yeah.
I will even when I was in Canada, away from my family, I would just take myself. I go get mani pedis like twice a month.
Marsh, I got something funny to say about this shit. I dated a girl probably 15, 20 years ago that had a foot fetish. Never come across that shit before. It was fucking weird. Anyway, so we're just kind of laying there and she's like, do you mind if I play with your feet? I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, do you mind if I like play with your feet? I'm like, what's up? She's like, I got a foot fetish. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, I like feet. So I was like, well, if that's what you like to do, then go do what you want to do. And apparently I have nice feet. So so that's a rant, yeah, right? Like
my feet,
it exists.
My feet is not a playground for anyone to be. Like, you don't like. By the time you smell my feet, you already know what time it is. I don't know, man. That's not. I'm not a. I mean, to each his own, man. You like feet, hey.
Yeah, pretty weird.
I had to take care of them things, man. I'm telling you.
But now though, women will make you feel bad, about certain things. Like I remember one time, come on, I did with my wife. She's like, "You just cut me." I was like, "Wait a minute, just cut." She's like, "Just cut me." And I looked at my nail. It was like lapping over my toe. She's like, "I think it's time to go for it." And then we went, and then they did the hot wax, and I remember being in the sheet that night, just rubbing my feet against each other. I was like, "This is so soft." So now I try to do a little bit more, but it's still not. We're not wearing flops in the summertime.
See, I'm a California dude, so I used to wear flops in the summertime.
I wear flops with socks.
Yeah.
I'm coming to yeah, you got to make it do what it do, baby.
Hey, Dante, what's your NFL team, man? I see Ryan got all that Eagles gear, and you already know I'm an Eagles fan.
Right. See, people be full of. I mean, I can vouch for him. He's an Eagle fan. I am born and raised Oakland, California. Okay. I am a diehard Raider fan. They were still in Oakland when I was born. So then LA borrowed us, and I was always a fan then. Then when they came back,
it's a rough time for Oakland fans right now.
Hey man, it's okay. They could play on Mars. They will always be the Oakland Raiders, no matter what.
I mean, Marsh, what's up with that quarterback situation right now? Let's hear it.
So I'm a little bit biased because I am a Fresno State Bulldog, and my recruiting class, David Carr was my quarterback. We got recruited out of high school same year. We was Patty class. Now Derek was what 5 years old, I think, when I got to college. So Derek, here's the thing that I hate arguing with people that really don't know ball. Derek has been throwing for 3,800, 4,000 yards a season, around there. Those are good numbers. It's Pro Bowl numbers. He if you look at his stats, he does his thing. It's very hard for a team, I think last year or the year before last, they were scoring like 28 points a game and still losing. So we haven't had a defense. The Raiders has not had a top nothing defense. The lowest we've been in the last 20 years, I think, has been 20. So if you can't stop a nosebleed, it don't matter how many points you did. This is professional football. You can't win shootouts. And this year in particular, we were up 5 games, double digits, and still lost. How are you leading in 5 games, double digits, and still lose the game? So I will say this: good, bad, win, lose, or draw. I'm gonna be a Raider fan.
Let me ask you a question. You know what's like when you play defense, right? And your offense is not doing shit.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all calling everything on the defensive side of the ball, calling everything, trying to stop the bleed. And there's no offense.
It's tough.
It's tough. You know what I'm saying?
It's tough. It's very tough.
It's hard to go out there and the worst part is when they're walking off
and you looking at them. Yeah. Yeah. Now the other hard part is when they played the Rams, and the Rams had just got Baker Mayfield a few weeks ago, and they had the game in the bag. This dude has to drive 90-some yards for the game winner. Why are you playing press, man? I'm confused. Back up, play cover 4. They can't win the game with a field goal. They got to score a touchdown.
I would say this: when they got Devontae, I thought they were gonna take off.
Yeah. Me too.
I didn't. Here's what I thought, because Devontae is a cool dude. He's from the Bay Area, went to Fresno State as well. Bulldog alumni. He's a top 3 receiver in the game, right? If not top dog.
Right.
The thing of it is with that, I didn't feel like, I thought he's gonna do his numbers regardless. He's packs to have like 1,500 yards receiving. Like he's gonna put up numbers because he's a great player. But y'all gotta understand, football is not like basketball. Football, it takes more of a team effort. Contrary to popular belief, watch this. If the San Francisco 49ers had Derek Carr last year, they would have won the Super Bowl.
But my thing is, the quarterbacks are judged by wins and losses. How much playoffs?
Okay, look, check it out. Though. Not to cut you off. Hold up. The quarterbacks and coaches get too much credit for wins, too much blame for losses. Right. There's been no quarterback in the history of the world who has won Super Bowls. That's a term we throw that, because if that was the case, Dan Marino would have won hella Super Bowls. If that was the case, your boy in Buffalo.
We can't put Derek Carr and Marino in the same sentence.
No, listen what I'm saying.
We can't even fathom that thought.
I know, but you a ball player, so you gonna understand what I'm saying.
Right.
As great as your quarterback can be, he ain't winning no games. When you look at the 4 straight years, I'm telling my age now, 4 straight years, Buffalo Bills went to the Super Bowl. 4 straight years in a row.
Right.
Jim Kelly don't kick field goals.
I hear you, but I just see the spectrum and the scale in which they judge other quarterbacks. Like, look at a quarterback like Jalen Hurts. Even after everything he's done, people are still talking about, is he a franchise quarterback and this and that. And
but you know what? But see, here's the thing.
You know
why that conversation gonna happen. It's complexion.
But I'm not even going there. But I'm not even going there. I'm strictly trying to keep it on wins and losses.
But you a ball player.
He's been to a playoff game. He's about to take his team as a number 1 seed to the playoffs.
Right.
Okay, and they still don't talk to him. But next year, Derek Carr about to get a starting quarterback job.
Okay, but Mike, I agree with everything you're saying. But hear what I'm saying. In the United States of America, that reason is what I just said. It's complexion, bro. You gotta remember, Warren Moon had to leave University of Washington in the late 70s and go to Canada.
Right.
He was never going to play quarterback had he went straight to the NFL.
Right.
They didn't believe in black quarterbacks back then. So he had to go to Edmonton and go to 5 straight Grey Cups before he even got an opportunity to play quarterback in the NFL. He's in both Hall of Fames, bro. You can't deny it. But what I'm saying is, I don't want to make it a race thing, but we got to speak facts.
I'm just saying, Derek Carr's made a case that he's had to go for a long time.
He's had to do a lot with a little. He's had to do a lot with
every year I hear this man's name being talked about. Like, okay, what are we gonna do to help him? And they bring the weapons in. It's the same thing. Change coach, same thing. Okay, bring these guys in. It's the same thing.
Let's say this. Because so if you have a different defensive coordinator every year, they run different schemes. How effective you think you're gonna be in terms of producing to the potential that you are capable of producing?
I mean, that's tough for any player to.
And I'm not making excuses. I want people to see, because he has played shitty to me this year, but over the 9 years he's been in the league, 2016 they went 12-4. He broke his leg or his ankle the last game of the regular season. They were talking about MVP that year for him.
Right.
He can do it, but how can you go get weapons offensively? It does not matter if you can't stop nobody. I can score 50. If I give up 51, I lose. What are we talking about? We can't stop a nosebleed, bro.
I just know playing defense, when you got a good offense, maybe not necessarily score touchdowns. Let's see, you get up on the lead, right? Yeah. And they just able to put first downs together. You know, you get that game. You can have that conversation on the sideline. Man, we can go out and play defense all game long like that.
We can. We can, but I don't. The Raiders are inept. This
But
is my.
when they talk about Derek Carr and they put him in the ranks of other quarterbacks, then we should expect production in the ranks of those other quarterbacks.
No, but here's the thing. He's giving you that production. Watch this. Watch this. If you let's look at this. We got to use the NFL now. If you're throwing for 3,800 yards and 28 to 32 touchdowns a season, he's in between 3,600 and 4,000 yards passing every year. Those are Pro Bowl numbers. Now, if you're scoring 26, 27, 28 points a game, would y'all not agree that the offense is doing its job?
Hey, you believe numbers do lie? There's some numbers can get inflated and it can give up the wrong perception.
They do, just like interceptions. I'll talk about your boy in Dallas. He gonna get a shitload of interceptions, but he gonna give up probably 1,000 receiving for the season.
Right.
But as a coach now, it's me. I was a technician. I'd rather take the guy that's gonna give me 4 or 5 interceptions a year or 3 interceptions a year and have hella PBUs and play consistent lockdown defense versus the guy that could give me 10 interceptions this year but give up 1,000 receiving. I mean, it's kind of like a glass half full thing, if you will. It's kind of a preference. What I'm saying is, I can't say that he got to have the same production as Jalen Hurts does because the Philadelphia Eagles defense is much better than the Raiders defense. It's just what it is. And you know, like I know, if let's say we score 21 points, right? Beating y'all by 21. It changes the way your offensive coordinator has to put his game plan changes now. Because now y'all got to score points. If my defense can't stop a nosebleed and this I score, you score, you score, I score, then we go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Now the game plan changed.
Right.
If I'm up, I could just start running the ball and ice the game.
My thing is, at some point there's a constant. Changes, coaches change, players change.
Mm-hmm.
Over the years, he's been the one constant that's been there. At some point, we got to just keep pointing fingers at other people and just keep saying this is them, it's that, it's this is. At some point, we gotta look and say, okay, what are we doing?
You're right. You're absolutely right.
To add to the situation.
He hasn't been the one constant. I'm gonna take it further. The one constant is the management.
Well, the management is gonna be the management. We have no control over that.
Yes, we do. You hire the wrong general managers. You hire the wrong coaches.
No players ever had control of management. You see
No.
You see what Aaron Rodgers was fighting for.
I'm not talking about
and even Aaron Rodgers gonna get that.
I'm not talking about the players. I'm talking about what you saying. I agree with, but what I'm saying, you can't sit there and just okay. This is what I'm saying. Let's go back to the 2016 season. The man went 12-4. They was talking MVP. He still was putting up them same kind of numbers. We asked for, and matter of factly, that was the year we had Crabtree and Amari Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
He's never really had a number one and a 1A and a 1B like that until then.
We can say, okay, just to nullify the whole race thing, we could say, okay, Carson Wentz has an MVP type year in 17, gets hurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Comes back, plays few games, gets hurt again, comes back. The team is not as good around him as it should be, and he struggles. Out of there. Goes to Indy. Puts, like you said, you look at his numbers. The numbers weren't that bad. Weren't that a few costly interceptions at critical moments of the game. Out of there. Goes to Washington. Not like he's really playing bad. They were still in playoff contention. Hurts a finger. Out of there.
What round was he drafted in?
The first round.
Yeah.
Okay. Was he ever supposed to be a superstar? Was he?
Yeah, he was supposed to be in Philly. Yeah.
Were you pick that high? Yeah.
Well, so they say, but let's just keep it 100. I'm not saying it's just a race thing. What I'm saying.
Let me ask you a question. Did he play at a superstar level the year he was playing for MVP? Yeah, he did.
Oh, yeah, sorry, that, yeah. Yes, he did, until Nick Foles had to step in. He absolutely did.
Right.
I'm gonna say he's a product. He was a product of that. He had a great season. That was a product of a great. He was in just. It was just everything aligned right that year for him.
Okay. So then let me ask you: has Derek Carr ever done anything in comparison to that season in his career?
He's probably top 3 for the most come behind drives.
No, I'm asking you. I'm not saying in comparison to Carson Wentz's season that year, has Derek Carr ever had
won a Super Bowl? So no,
comparable to that?
His best season was 2016,
and he was not the number 1 seed. Didn't set up his team to be the number 1 seed. He was in the MVP conversations, but he wasn't the front runner.
No, it was tough in the A. It's tougher in the AFC than NFC.
But now we adding dirt. But I'm just saying,
it's always very.
Carson Wentz had a good year.
He did.
Got hurt a few times, and I mean, Derek Carr been in that thing for a long time.
Yes, but when you talk here,
at some point we gotta ask those questions. Like, bro, is he really the answer?
Listen,
see what's going on.
Nobody's gonna be the answer until. So to answer your question. Right. And I don't want to seem biased. I'm gonna try to not be biased, right?
And that's why I'm pressing you because you biased. That's why I'm pressing you.
So we gonna talk real ball business.
We got to do it quickly though, because you do have other stuff to get to.
Right. We're gonna get it. So this is what I'm saying. When you have an inept organization who's been inept for more than 2 decades, just about, besides the last 4 years of the 90s and early 2000s when we were winning the AFC Championship and went to the Super Bowl and all that shit. Rich Gannon was a journeyman. They was talking about letting him play safety. He was toiling around in the league. He became an MVP quarterback for the Raiders. Put up big numbers, took him to the Super Bowl, right? You can't one player in football would never be the answer if the organization, you gotta have the variables have to be there. The reason why the New England Patriots were so damn good, yes, Tom Brady developed into the greatest quarterback to ever touch a football. But people don't talk enough about the defense that he was playing with.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about them defensive guys that were on those teams.
Yeah, some of my favorite all-time DBs.
Right.
Ty Law, Sante.
So there's Rodney Harrison. There's so many variables. Right. Then all those, okay, watch this. Every time, it's not that it's Bill Belichick. Watch this. Every time there is a head coaching vacancy, who is the first damn candidates? One of the assistant coaches, goddamn Patriots. So I say all that to say this is the ultimate variable for success. Management.
Well, he got one of the Patriots. He got one of the Patriots guys right now.
You're not hearing me, Mike.
He got one. He got Bill's right-hand man right now.
No. He's a good offensive coordinator, but he's doing things the Raider way. I'm a Raider fan, and I'm gonna just tell you the Raider way ain't it. I'm just telling. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You got an inept owner who's the son of the great Al Davis who don't know nothing.
Rest in peace, Al Davis.
Rest in peace, Al Davis. Like they need to sell the team to some people that really give a damn. It hurts my heart. So when we talk about management, I'm gonna tell you a closer to home scenario. In BC, Wally and Mr. Brady. Wally and Shiv was able to, and Bob Obilovich, who was the one who got me originally, we were so good for so long because the management was right. And he knew the kind of guys to throw in that pot of gumbo. When the management got kind of weird, and Ed and them came over there, and then, you know what I'm saying, and I love Ed. I can play against Ed. But as the management changed, what did BC start doing? You get what I'm saying? So it's in direct correlation with the management. When I say management, I'm talking about owner, coaches, general managers, scouts, all of the above. If that's not right, it don't matter who you got in there.
I guess over the years, honestly, because I play with guys that, like yourself, you know, understand a lot of what's going on in the front office and the coaching staff and the management. And I just always never try to get involved in them talks, in all honesty, because I just, my little sister's telling me it's time to go. I just always thought, like, I have no control over that.
Right.
There's powers above me that, 1,000 words mean nothing to them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just never, like, even, and it's kind of sad because GMs will ask me at the end of the year, like, what's going on? What do you think? And I don't give an opinion.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to matter.
Mhm.
What's going to
Mike?
happen is going to happen.
Yeah. Sorry, Mike, before you got to check out, which I assume is soon, can you give us like 5-10 minutes more and that's it kind of thing?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So number one, I want to know what made you a Philadelphia Eagles fan.
When we came to Canada in 2004, watching that, I was bored. I was just bored. I think my dad just put a TV in our room, and I was like flipping through the channels, and I saw this game come on, Falcons against the Eagles, NFC Championship game. And I just remember listening, like, the way they were talking about Michael Vick and Donovan McNabb. You know, first time these two black quarterbacks are playing, and just the amount of times they kept on saying first time these two black quarterbacks were playing. I was just like, and I looked at Vick and looked at McNabb, and I was like, man, the amount of love they were getting, I was like, man, I kind of want to be like one of them guys, you know? So yeah. I started like looking into football, and then, so my first high school never had football. So when I moved and we finally had football, I started getting into it. And for me, I kept up with the Eagles through that. So ever since then, you know, the Kevin Cobb days, you know, Nick Foles, Carson Wentz, you know, all these quarterbacks that we've had, I've just always kept up with the news, you know, kept up with the team. And, you know, until today, you know, now, you know, I'm about to be a father. You know, some of my friends are sending me baby Eagle stuff. You know, some of my childhood friends are sending me, you know, baby Eagles gear. So, you know, I've always been a fan, and I just love the organization. You know, Mr. Jeffrey Lurie does a good job.
Obviously, yeah.
Being a no-nonsense GM, you know, he doesn't stand for much BS. The minute he feels like the ship is not right, he's gonna do what he has to do to make sure that club is always winning. You know, we don't go through too many downtimes too long. The Eagles are not an organization that's down for too long. We might have a bad year, a hiccup every now and then, but as a fan, it's always a pleasure watching the Eagles game.
Yeah. So for me, back in junior high, the kids started calling me Randall because of Randall Cunningham. So I'm talking like, you know, 80s, 90s kind of thing. Ricky Waters, James Thrash. You know, I go pretty deep.
Garcia. So. I forgot Jeff Garcia.
Jeff Garcia. Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, I eat, sleep, shit, die Philly. The Eagles anyways, and that's just the way it's going to be for my life. I know people that are bandwagon fans. Brian Westbrook, absolutely, he's up there right now. I got buddies of mine who jump ships from teams. It's like, I don't care if my team's owing $1 million, like I'm not jumping ship, and I can't now anyways because Mike, you know that. Right? It's over. So you've seen that before. It's over. I'm in, right? And that's just the way it is. So another topic for this is kind of funny for me personally. So Mike, you were really cool one time and came out and talked to me and my girlfriend, which was pretty special for us. I'll never forget that moment. So thank you. It meant a lot to us. And you definitely made me a fan. I am a big fan of Mike Edem because of the way because of the way he plays. I mean, you play on the line. You don't go over the line, but you're extremely aggressive. You don't take shit. And if anybody's going to talk some shit, you're right there talking shit right back. And you play the game the way I played ice hockey. And I just saw a lot of myself in your style of play, and that's just what made me a fan of you. So I just wanted to show that with you. Appreciate that. You know, when I first came to the league, I played with a guy named Kyrie Saber. Kyrie. Angry Bird. And I remember they had moved him from safety to linebacker. So I took his safety spot. Not take, but I got drafted and, you know, given the spot. I remember Kyrie came up to me the first game, and he was like, "There'd not be no bitch either. Come on with the shit. Just say words." Like, you know, he got he's like, "You better not be no bitch either. Come with that shit." And walks away. That's all he says to me. And I'm like, so in my head, I gotta go prove a point. Like, come on, man. Like, I can hang. You know what I'm saying? I can carry my own sack of rocks. Just let me get a chance to show you that. So, you know, I started kind of, you know, trying to emulate his style, you know, just the recklessness and reckless abandon that he played with. Just, man, one time he was hurt, and I was like, "Kyle, you ain't got to go in there, man. Just take a breather. Like, you're done." We were up like 21 points. I'm like, "Kyle, like, what's the point of you playing?" Like, "Man, I die for this shit." So I'm looking at, I'm like, okay. So those are the kind of people I learned from early in the game, right? So
I've just played that way, and trying to let my passion show. And then Chip Cox, that was another aggressive attacking defensive player. He did it from a more crafty. Chip did miss a lot of tackles.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did it because he wasn't the biggest guy. He never missed a lot of tackles, and that's why I think I still has a franchise record for tackles in Montreal. But learning from those two guys, man, really set the table for my career.
Yeah.
That's the good.
Two other things, maybe three. I'm sorry. This is a big one for me. So you mentioned earlier in the show that you like to be first in line, and you segued actually into what one of my questions were. When I see you coming out on the field, you're always within the first couple guys, if not the first.
Right.
Why? Why is that?
Well, two reasons. One, I just want to get to the end zone, say my last prayers, and just kind of let my worries go. And second is blow my wife a kiss. And once I do that, the eye black comes on, and it's 3 hours of serenity for me.
Yeah.
So for me, like being the last one, waiting for everyone to come out, I can be the first one down, do my thing, and while people are still coming out, I can have a little time to get in that mode before the anthem comes on. And you ever see when the anthem comes on and guys are trying to find like the
Smell of salt.
the smell of salt, they're trying to find blood, they're trying to. For me, by then, you're not really locked in.
Okay.
When the anthem comes on, man, this is gladiator mode. Like the other guys are looking at you on the other side of the field. The least you can do is have the respect to look back at them when that time calls and, understand what's about to happen on that field.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, another thought. How crazy did you think that I showed up in Calgary in the front row and then yelling at you, fuck Mike, whatever, which I always do, in a Rough Rider jersey. And then to come back the next week on the road for you guys in BC, I'm there again in the front row where the players come out of the tunnel, and I'm like, I got to wear my fucking Rough Rider Edem jersey because I can't switch teams. But did you not start to think that was a little bit stalkerish at the time?
Oh, me, nah.
Yeah.
Man,
Okay.
It takes a lot of, man. Listen, I grew up in Nigeria, man. I just see some crazy things. I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria. Third world country. I've seen some. It takes more than just
showed up some football games.
But for me, when I met you, I kind of knew your intentions. I kind of knew, this guy's just a passionate fan.
Yeah.
Most guys don't introduce a guy to their girl, like they don't bring the girlfriends to go meet another guy. You know what I'm saying? It's just most guys will be like, I'm gonna go meet him myself. But when you do that, it's a certain transparency that you have, a certain level of respect. You want me to meet people you care about, and for me, that means a lot. So when you do stuff like that, I mean, we play with a helmet on. So a lot of times fans don't have that close interaction with players. They know it's for, Mike number 15, Mike Edem, but they don't really know the guy behind the mask. So the opportunities to go out and interact with fans on a more personal basis, I think creates everlasting bonds, just like we're having right here. And that's why it allows us to be able to sit here and have this conversation. I'm pretty sure Dante probably did the same thing. That's why y'all are able to, do this, create this platform together. So, and I just think it's about giving people an opportunity to kind of show themselves to you, and you kind of get to know people.
Yeah. One of the biggest things too that I will never forget too is you're lining up on defense facing me on the field, and we make some kind of contact or whatever. I'm like, hey, you're on the field, and you start going like this to me, and you're lined up, for D because I'm wearing your Edem jersey. Right. I will never forget that, man. That was awesome. I'm like, man, that guy, if anything he could be doing right now, because he should be focusing on the game, which I knew you were. But you're gesturing up to me in the stands, and that was just insane, man. That was cool.
That's like people think, like for me, I don't know if you were like this. When I was on the field, it was tough for me to have fun. Like the inner child comes out. There's a little crazy mixed in there, but for the most part, the work is already put in during the week. It's just time to go out and execute and do what we talked about doing. So for me, that's the easy part. Fine tuning what is going to work and what's not going to work. That's the hard part. Like that's like a mechanic, changing the oil and getting underneath the car and doing all that. That's the hard part. The test drive is the easy part. That's where you just have fun.
Say practice was so much like games. When the game came, it was just practice with fans in the stadium.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm getting a 2-minute warning here.
Okay, so here's your 2 minutes. And Mike, please come back, and we got to finish up
Oh yeah,
anything else we missed.
you know what? We'll definitely come back because I kind of feel bad because I thought we'd have time, but
Don't feel bad.
I got my mother, my 2 sisters, and a pregnant wife right now, so I'm getting the full court press.
Get to it, baby.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And congrats on you know, on the trial. That's awesome.
I'm definitely excited, man. I'm definitely excited.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Ed Gainey leaves. You know, your year without Ed Gainey. I know that you and Ed Gainey are really close. You spent a lot of time with Ed. You've been on a few different teams with Ed. How did you feel about that? And then him with Chris, with Chris Jones even, right?
I mean, Gainey like my brother. Like I lived with Gainey my first year in Montreal. That was my roommate. So and then we played in Hamilton together for a brief stint, and then in Sask for X amount of years. I think we ended up playing 7 years together or so, if I'm not mistaken. When you have, what it's like, Dante, to have a boundary half that you've seen for so long. Like it got to the point, me and Ed, that I can wink at him and he knows what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Or I'll see him in front of me. I'll see him in front of me in a certain spot, and then he'll kind of just nod his head, and I'm like, I bet I'm gonna go stand over here. He's just like, it's second nature. But in that process, what happens is you can kind of get complacent because you've done it for so long with somebody that you forget certain things because he can cover you up and make certain mistakes. So not playing with Gainey was a learning process, but it was something I enjoyed doing because I had to teach. And when you teach, there's a certain part of studying that comes with that, refreshing your own memory. It's almost like a review for yourself, right? So I went back and actually, man, I forgot I could do this. Oh man, so many things we didn't, I couldn't, like that. I forgot. I guess me and Ed knew what worked for us and kind of kept certain things out. But when we, with me and Ro, we tried different things. Ro's a different kind of player. He's a little more aggressive in the run. So I had to learn, okay, I don't have to be that as aggressive because Ro's a certified hitter. He's going to come down and he's going to stick it in there, not scared. So, there's a certain adjustment that comes with, playing with a guy for so long. But for me, I enjoyed the learning process, Also, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Ro taught me a few things that, I used over the course of the season. Me and Ro bonded on the terms of, he's a father. When I found out I was having a baby, Ro was probably somebody I talked to every morning because, when we come in, we just chop it up. We don't even talk football. And, we kind of got close over, talking about fatherhood and stuff like that because, he's a father of 3 and he's a great father. And I kind of envy him from that perspective, So it's a learning process. I mean, you can't be satisfied with being comfortable. Sometimes comfort can be the worst thing for you. It allows you to get complacent. You just take certain things for granted. But Ro was a breath of fresh air, even in our room. The young guys play with a different kind of fire. And it's nice to see when their fire is burning at an all-time high, and you're able to just keep pouring gas on it and having that fire keep going, right? So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah. One last, maybe 2. We had Adekulu on here, which was a great show. Really funny cat.
Steven.
And I know you guys spent time together. That was our first show of the Inside the Minds podcast, was Adekulu. I tried to go through Adekulu to get you on the show because you weren't on social media at that time. You said you tried but couldn't. You were getting married. But anyways, yeah, your thoughts on Adekulu?
Listen, that's my brother, man.
Yes.
Me and Steve used to have some vicious, I don't know if you told you about this, but we used to play Bulldogs. We used to have some vicious one-on-one sessions. Like, we used to damn near throw hands after every rep. Like, sometimes he took his jersey off. Yeah, he's holding me, and he'd run one-on-ones with just to pass on. And, out of competition, we were mutual respect for one another. But one of the major respects I have for Adekulu is his entrepreneurship mindset. He's somebody that if you talk to him, he's going to teach you a way you can get money. If you talk to him, he's gonna have a solution for you on how you can get money. He's just always showing there's always trying to, progress, and he's trying to find ways to get better. He's very innovative with who he is, his style, and that's why you see he's so versatile in the things he's doing in life. People don't know this guy formulated a daycare plan since we were in college and executed it to a T, to the point now he has they built a daycare, from scratch, and he's on Netflix doing movies, parlayed football into a better career, something that every player wishes they can do, and when you see your brother do that, you just gotta clap your hands and give him his flowers and just, appreciate his greatness.
Definitely. Yeah. My very last thought, I know you're on time limit. If something happens, and I don't want it to happen, and I know you don't want it to happen, we're not going to talk about it. If something happens and you don't go back to Saskatchewan, please give me one more shot of you playing with BC, because I can't cheer for another team. It's me, you, Saskatchewan, only because you're playing there. And that's it, dude. Just come back to BC. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, Dante, remember when you played, you had kids, right?
Yeah.
And you ever got to a time where the decision was kind of like not in your hands? It's in your hands, but there's alternative factors that you have to implement that just, I'm not going to say no, because I love RP. And if RP gave me that call, man, I'd love to play for RP. That's a damn fact. And I got my boy Luch over there,
Yep.
I'm never going to say never. But right now, I gotta appreciate the process and give Sass the respect and the benefit of the doubt that they're going to do right. So I don't even want to put something in the air. You know how to. There you go. You know how 3 down is. I can say something right now and there you go. There you go.
Hey, one last one. You signed this one. You said my favorite fan, and I have the proof on here. So Don't forget that I'm your favorite fan, Mike.
No, I just wanted to vandalize the Harris jersey. That was why I did that.
and then you probably vandalized him that game, I think, for me. Because you remember that? I'd be like, Mike, can you fuck up fucking Andrew Harris for me? I remember one time, I'm like, I messaged you, I'm like, can you please take it easy on Andrew Harris for me? And you're like, dude, I don't take it easy on anybody.
Nah, there was something about playing. There's something about playing Andrew Harris, like you come out of the game, you're doing a warm up, you look at him, and he's over there doing some like getting amped, getting in the mode shit. And I just be looking at him, and I'm just like, man, I'm gonna try to crack
that. Right? No disrespect to Andrew Harris, anybody listening, but
I mean, you gotta. And when you come to realize too, athletes, when you look at a guy and you line him up and you say, "I'm gonna go get him," it's a respect thing.
Definitely, and he feels it. He knows it. Absolutely.
Like, honestly, like you hit, like the worst thing is to hit a guy that's not gonna hit you back. It's just it falls like a bag of milk, and you just like almost like a wasted rep. You're like, man, what the like?
Have you come across that, Mike? You've had that?
I do, but then when I do, it's just verbal abuse at that point. Because at that point, I'm not gonna waste my physicality with you, because we know how that went on the first rep. So at that point, I'm just gonna verbally abuse you till the game's over.
Right. See, and that's why I love you, man. Because you don't take shit. You just don't take shit. And I see you spouting shit and fucking talking on the field. And if you have
you know what? One of the things I'll say this, and I'll say it on this platform because I hope he's listening, is Brian Burnham. We used to be teammates, and we got along real well. But when I went to SAS, things got sour real quick. And that's just because what he used to do to our DBs, dunking on people. So, for me, when Manny was there, and it was him and Manny trying to, bully guys, I used to take pleasure in trying to crack those guys. And then when Manny left, Burnham was a lone soldier, and he was still dunking on some of our guys. But, just kind of, see him get fired up used to fire me up. Seeing him get angry used to get kind of fired me up, because as a teammate, he was such a nice guy. Mm-hmm. He was such a cool dude, I'm saying. The locker, he was so cool, level-headed, like monotone. You never see him got angry, none of that. But on when you compete against a guy that is so nice, and you see that dog come out, you kind of want to like, yeah, like let's keep this going, you know, type. And I think along the lines, I might have got carried away and pushed it too far. But now that he's retired, I can say, you know, I apologize for any of the crazy junk I might have said.
Never push it too far. You never push it too far.
Huh?
You never push it too far.
No, but you know, you don't want to burn bridges, but you know, me, like, you know, I appreciate the guy, the friend he was when I was there, because you know, it's hard to play for Wally. We never played for Wally before. And he was one of those guys that kind of helped me through those times. And the fact that I played for another team should not be the reason why a friendship should be tarnished. But like I said, you know, I might have pushed it to edges and boundaries. And you know, he said certain things, but you know, it doesn't got to be like that. You know, competition's competition. You leave him on the field, and you know, now that he's retired, I just want to say, hey, man, happy retirement. You know, you had a hell of a career. I'm glad I ain't got to face you no more, brothers. And yeah, man, enjoy.
Absolutely. Happy retirement, Brian Burnham.
Brian
Sad. It's sad, man. It's he's
Hey,
he's different life. Father,
you know
right?
what, though, like you gotta respect
Absolute
that,
that, you know?
like they can walk out on his own terms like that. Because he could have played 5 more years.
Yeah.
He could still been a number one receiver on any team, but when your passion is being pulled in another direction, it's hard to walk away from something you've been doing for so long to chase something you don't know where it's gonna end up. So for me, you know, that's big on him.
Yeah, absolutely. Dante, got anything you need to add? Guys gotta go.
I had a pleasure being up there the few weeks I was during training camp, and hopefully our paths cross again.
Yeah, man. Hopefully.
They better. Mike says he's gonna come back on the show, so
Yeah, I'm gonna come back.
We'll do it.
My sister's over here. They're about to pull my neck off my shoulders. So
he knows I'm gonna fill up his DMs again if he doesn't show up, and he's gonna get angry at me and just have to, you know, mute me again like he did. Because he's like, man, you're so persistent, dude. You just don't give up. I'm like, no, I'm not giving up. So
yo, you know what's crazy? Dante, he caught me on a good vibe. I was on the eggnog, you know, I was sitting on the eggnog, and then you know, he fired me a text, and I was like, man, it's Christmas season. I was like, my dog's been persistent. Since I played for BC, he's been trying to do something. So I'm like, you know what? You gotta give it A for effort, bro. Like,
and a brother Eagles fan.
And you know what? We didn't get to talk about the Eagles as much as we wanted to, but
We will.
Let's say this: the night before the Grey Cup, the night before the Super Bowl, when they're getting ready to play the Super Bowl, we'll have a podcast, and I'll come back on,
all right,
and we'll throw dirt on the Raiders and hype the Eagles up.
I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold you to that, brother. Let's absolutely.
Hey, man, I want y'all to win the Super Bowl. I hate the 49ers. Matter of fact, I'll be beat their ass tomorrow. The Red Panty Gang. I can't stand it.
And you can say that on my brother, but I don't know. The Niner team is scary, though.
Y'all got to do it.
Yeah. All right, but brothers, hold it down.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it, Mike.
And let's do this again, guys. Happy holidays.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Happy holidays. Thanks, Mike. Dante, that was good times, man. Sorry I had to cut you near some of that, but there's just some shit I had to get off my chest, and I wanted to hear some things about, you know.
No.
Definitely.
I didn't think it was gonna be that short. That's why. So it's all good.
No, I didn't either. And actually, he had mentioned earlier. He said, "I've got dinner plans." So I was like, "Okay, dinner's like 4:30, 5 o'clock." But he's got the whole family thing going on. So he's up in Peachland right now, which is on the mainland. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of below Kamloops. Yeah, anyways. Yeah, man. Good times with Mr. Mike Edem. That's another thing I want to touch on too is you said Saskatchewan's Roughrider in the intro, and then Mike Edem is a huge DMX fan. So I wanted just to see if he caught that. But I'll have to text it to him later. It's all good.
No,
all good. I knew that show was going to be fire.
He's a good dude, man. He very coachable. Loves to he loves to get better. Like, so everything, like, he was ecstatic when I was up there. So, good deal, man.
Good deal.
It's just the nature of the business is that's the ugly side, and a lot of people aren't privy to what goes on. in regards to what's, stuff that's going on behind closed doors. They don't really know. All they see is, the games and all the other BS that's on the blogs and whatever's being reported on. But it's the variables they're there for a reason. The variables contribute to the outcome. So you always got to talk about the variables, and you'll be surprised, man. I was having a conversation with somebody earlier, and it was like, the older you get, you really see through all the BS. And to me, when you a player for so long, you think it's everybody wants to win. That's not what it's about. Contrary to popular belief. Selling merchandise is about putting asses in seats.
It's about making money, right? Which is two of those things. Selling merchandise, putting asses in seats. But that's money. That's.
So people, the fans, we're still. Not we are, because I was on the other side, but mostly everybody is blinded by a fake narrative. Most of these owners are very wealthy. Owning a franchise is a hobby to most of them. 95%.
Especially if you own the one in Dallas.
Well, he already had money. So he bought the Cowboys for what, $800 million? Like, it was something ridiculously low, and it's like so much more than what he bought it for. So I mean, we gotta wake up and understand it's sports entertainment, right?
Yeah.
So it's to entertain people. So at the end of the day, the bottom line, I don't truly believe all these teams, they're just hell-bent on Super Bowls or Grey Cups. No, it's if my franchise is making money, that's the bottom line. So
do you, as a player, do you start to feel used after a while? I mean, you must in ways.
Yes, because see, here's the deal. We're taught, and this will take us down a whole nother conversation. But
we got to be careful with this one because I'm on a time limit, but we'll get there, Dante. Look, okay, let's hear it. Okay.
No, we'll save that one, but I'm just, specifically speaking, United States. A lot of the stuff that we're taught is not truth. It's inaccurate. It's made up. So things that your belief system has been shaped by a narrative that's not true. So when you mature and you become a grown woman or a grown man and you are awake, you finally wake up out of your just following whatever, the sky is blue. Okay. Clearly it's pouring in rain.
Robot mode.
Right. When you start to step away and kind of be analytical and use your own brain without somebody kind of telling you this is what it is, you start to see things.
Yeah.
And it becomes clear to you, just clarity, right?
Yeah.
So I don't feel used in a sense that it was my selfish desire since I was a 5-year-old kid. It's done so much for me, positive, in a positive manner in my life with this game. I mentioned it earlier. I think it contributed to my divorce. Oh well, so be it. I'll do it all over again if I could do it again. Because that dream of mine, that goal of mine, that aspiration, those aspirations I had were for Dante.
Yeah.
Way before Dante was even an adult. Way before Dante was married. Way before Dante even had kids. That was the Most High said, this is for you.
Yeah.
So I had to allow it to run its course. So now that I'm on the under end of the spectrum, I'm no longer a player. I'm a coach. I'm a teacher. I'm a mentor, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have clarity on what it is. So when I'm teaching these young people and I'm giving them advice and I'm mentoring them and I'm coaching them and I'm helping them along their journey to get to where I got, I have the ability to give them so much more than what I was given. If that makes sense. Because I've been through it. I've seen it. I know what it is.
And you can keep them out of the potholes, hopefully, right?
But I'm gonna
Hopefully,
tell you
yeah.
the real. I'll tell you the real. This is it's a business. Once you
Yeah.
leave high school, and even nowadays, high school is a business because now you can get paid, NIL deals and all this shit. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's a very dirty business. And once you understand that, because as a young person playing a sport, we playing it because we love it. We wasn't getting paid at Pop Warner High
Yeah.
School. Yeah, some of the dope dealers in the neighborhood, Dante, how many touchdowns you gonna score today? 3. I give you $20 a touchdown. Okay, yeah, but I'm talking about we played the game because we loved it. We didn't care about nothing else. If you would have asked me that question in high school or college, I'm gonna play. I don't even have to get paid. I love it. I play this game.
Yeah, but I mean, just the aspect, like I mean, like Mike said with like even like Carson Wentz or players he's probably even seen before. Like if you get hurt, you're out. Like see ya. Like that, you know, that's where the kind of like the used aspect comes is like, and like Wally used to tell you, hey man, like if you're not, I can just replace you. You know, like
So to answer your question, so Wally thought he could do that. He did that for a long time, even when he was in Calgary. He's notorious. Like people tell you, I had people when I first broke into the league. Hey man, when you become a free agent, man, get up out of there, man. I'm telling you.
yeah.
So many bad stories that people play it from other players about Wally. I mean, he treated me shit pretty damn good for my career. I mean,
Yeah, and that's something we touched on yesterday was taking someone else's opinion and putting it in the back of your head, but judging on your own experiences. And you never had bad experiences, you stayed, right?
well, I mean, it wasn't as bad as he did some other people. Let me say that. But
Right.
it wasn't, I wasn't given anything. I earned it. If he could have got rid of me and paid somebody half my salary, trust me, he would have done it. But
Yeah.
he paid me for 11 seasons. That's not because he liked me.
Right. Well, it's because you had talent and he had to keep you.
Okay, that's what you were saying. Like we are used, and until he feels like he can replace you, which he really couldn't replace me, even when he didn't bring me back. It started going here. I mean, you get what I'm saying. So to answer that, in my mind, I tell all the young people, look, you have to create a situation because everybody's replaceable. Shit, he cut Dave Dickinson. Come on, man. Jason Clare, G. Roy Simon. So who? I mean, you know, Adam Pitts. It don't matter. These are the great players. So who am I to think that I can't be next, right? So at the end of the day, I have to make myself irreplaceable for as long as I possibly can. So that was my mindset.
How do you not let G-Roy finish his career in BC, dude? Like what? You know what I mean? Like I think we went down that with G-Roy. Maybe we didn't, but I mean, yeah. Come on, man.
When you in the building and you on the inside and you know what's going on, you get what I'm saying? There's things people don't know and they'll spin it. The media will spin it. I mean, there's a lot of times when they'll flat out lie. Like for example, he didn't pick up my option after 2014. I emailed him and called, hey man, just release me so I could try to go get on another team. Yeah, well, you know, happy holidays, Dante. Because I didn't speak to him for a long time after that. We just recently, you know, patched it up. But I was pissed off for a long time because I've given you 11 seasons, 3 Grey Cup, 2 championships out of those 3 games, a Hall of Fame career. I've given that to you, right?
Yeah.
And for you to, I'm asking you, just if you're not gonna bring me back, just release me so I could go try to figure it out.
Yeah.
He held on to, he wouldn't do it until free agency. Who's gonna trade for a 35-year-old DB? Nobody. And then by that time, they're gonna spend their money up and get the free agents and guys they want to get. So I'm screwed. I'm left out in the cold, right? So that's what pissed me off. So at the end of the day, it kind of ended up being like what I heard when I first broke into the league. Like, hey man, he'll do it. He'll do it. He'll do this. Woo, woo, woo. So that's kind of after 11 seasons, I kind of felt that way. So at the end of the day, you just, you know, you can't take it personal. It's just business, right? That's what they love to say. oh, it was just business. Okay, cool, whatever. So I'm over it now, but I mean, that's what I told myself though. I'm going to make myself irreplaceable for as long as possible. And it turned into a long time. So that's my spiel to the young guys. That's why I told Mike, hey man, you play this shit till the wheels fall off, because
Absolutely.
the worst thing there's two bad things that happen. Either you are forced out because physically you are a shell of your former self. That's probably one of the worst ways. Somebody who's hanging on too long, and then they tarnish their legacy.
Yeah.
Or you get maimed, or you get some type of injury that really affects your way of life after football. Or you go ahead and they don't bring you back, or they cut you because of financial purposes, which is kind of the boat I fell in. If you don't want to pay this 6-figure salary no more, you think you could go get a younger version of me for cheaper. I mean, as a business person, who am I to argue with that?
Yeah. On the lines of the retirement talk, I mean, I don't like to talk about people when they're not here, but I mean, what I get out of it is, if I was Mike, I would want to try and hold on as long as I could. If I was going to listen to somebody telling me to retire and had I've listened, I mean, that's going to be hard every day to have that burning, in your blood every day to play football after you've retired. Like next year, if he's not playing, I mean, that's going to be pretty hard on his mindset to realize, number one, he can play. Number two, he wants to play, but number three, he's not playing because he chose to walk away, not on his own terms. I mean, that's going to be difficult, right?
And that's the other variable. It's like my ex-wife told me, like, I still play two, 3 more seasons. She was trying to tell me, just retire. I mean, retire already. Are you out of your rabbit ass mind? I'm gonna walk away from making 6 figures in 5 months, doing something I love to do since I've been doing since a kid, to do all of a sudden do what?
Right.
And fortunately enough, my transition wasn't as tough as a lot of guys, because once again, I'm a pretty sharp guy and I could do other things.
Yeah.
I'm an entrepreneur myself, and I was already doing some of the stuff that I'm doing now prior to me leaving the game, so it wasn't that hard. But it's tough when you got somebody else that's not running out of their tunnel, that hasn't been getting up at 4, 5, 6 in the morning for all these years, going into a locker room with a bunch of other guys and can be a kid, and playing a kid's game for a king's ransom. Some people don't make that kind of money in 2 years. I'm doing it in 5 months. So it's just, it's a lot of things. Once again, you talk about variables that you have to take into consideration before you make those rash decisions and choices. I'm just a guy that I love football to the point where I was gonna play until I couldn't play no more. And I was, blessed and fortunate to be around some great players and coaches that kind of told me the same thing. Hey man, play this shit as long as you can, man.
Absolutely. Yeah.
When it's over, man. There's nothing like it. And I think that's why a lot of former athletes have trouble post-career. And rest in peace to Junior Seau, man. I mean, he was larger than life, man. And he went through a divorce. He had his restaurants and stuff, and he was very noticeable. He is one of the main reasons people even know, prior to LaDainian Tomlinson, the Chargers. He was the face of he's the Chargers. He's Junior Seau. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't recall him having any financial problems. I mean, it's just, you're used to doing something for 17 years at that level, plenty of Pro Bowler, just, dude, it's different when you're in the game and you're doing it and people give you this certain love. It's different than when you're not playing and then the next wave of guys come, you kind of get forgotten about, I think. I don't really go through that because I don't know. It's just my transition was different and I'm still around the game. Right. And think for some guys, they have a hard time not being the center of attention no more.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a drug.
Absolutely. If you are the center of attention for a professional team and you step away from that, now you're going home to your home life and you're not the one that a million people a day are tuning into. Absolutely.
Yeah, so
I've never played pro sports, but 100%, man.
you're talking about going to a restaurant. Like even now, I haven't played and it's getting close to 10 years. I ain't played no football. And I don't even live in Canada. And I'll get people to send me stuff. I got jerseys and restaurants and bars and shit. I'm like, oh wow, that's crazy. People still wearing 31 jerseys with my name.
I've sent you 2 those pictures.
Send me some, but I'm saying like I've got I got some from some of the people I used to fool around with outside of the Lions, like some cool ass fans that I built relationships with, friends and shit, and they'll send me stuff, and I'm like, damn, I ain't played in hella long, and they still wearing that shit to the game, like.
Yeah. You know what, Marsh? Next time I see this shit, I swear to goodness, I'm just gonna offer somebody $200 for the jersey on their back because you can't find Marsh jerseys anymore. Like the old style that you wore. You can't get them. I just be like, I need that jersey. $200.
I talked to Neil and he said that he could probably get it done, but then he never hit me back with it. So
maybe you can try again.
Yeah, because they changed the uniform, so that's gonna be tough. But
they might have the team might have a box of them somewhere. You never know. I mean, you never know, right? So
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what this shit is about. So that's why we talk about legacy, right? You talk about when it's all said and done, and somebody is doing your eulogy when you do your homegoing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the guys, nobody's perfect, man. None of us. We all are flawed human beings. But I guess my thing is now, how can I have such a great impact that once I'm out of here, hopefully another 50 years from now, that people can say all this great shit about Dante Marsh. Like,
yeah,
he helped so many people. He impacted so many people. He was,
you'll get that. Look at these. But I mean, the kid. I know, but the kids you coach, though. I mean,
but that's what
I wish. I wish, right?
That's what I'm saying. So that's kind of, like I said, as we mature, we start thinking differently, right?
Yeah.
It's not so selfish when you get older. It's more so like, okay, there's a standard. Like when you're young, you just whatever. You don't care about people's opinions. You don't give a fuck. You just you're focused.
Yeah. You know what? I think a lot of that comes to is that we start to realize, I think that there is an end game, that we aren't invincible. And you start thinking about, okay, I'm not invincible, I'm gonna die. What have I done here? Have I just pissed a bunch of people off and now everybody hates me? Or is it gonna be, people have had respect for me or had a good conversation or a polite whatever, rather than the guy's a fucking asshole. And I think that's where it starts to come from.
That part. And you see so many times where there's gonna be people who lie and say you were this great fucking guy. And then there's gonna be people who tell the truth. They'll hold on one sec. And there'll be people that say, they really didn't have a relationship with you, but they make it more than what it is because people want to make it about them, right? So some of the stories get embellished. They try to act like they were there the whole time. You'll get some of those people. Then you'll get some genuine people that really fucked with you and really loved and respected you. So you're going to get some haters no matter what. You're not doing your job on earth if you don't got no haters, right? So at the end of the day, I don't care about none of that shit. It's all positive energy for me. And if I can help another person on their journey, because we're just using football, once again, like I said, as a tool, as a vehicle to navigate your way through life, to do all these other great things, right?
Yeah.
That's my thing with the younger people coming up. That's why I coach. That's why I teach. That's why I mentor. That's why I train. That's why I do all that stuff. And I'm paying it forward. So, that as you, like you said, as you get older, you start to think like, fuck, people dying. I'm still very young, but shit, man, my homeboy my same age, he passed away. Like, you start thinking, your days got to count now. Not that they didn't count before, but we feel, like you said, invincible and untouchable and all this shit. And then you start to, shit, man, these days I got to start making sure I'm enjoying and really cherishing my time, because we don't know when it's over.
I ain't going to bed pissed off anymore, because you never know if you're going to wake back up, right? That kind of shit. So.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Inside the Minds podcast with Dante Marsh and Ryan Hyde. Check out our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter accounts to see our upcoming show announcements, links to our previous shows, and sound bites. And don't forget to hit that follow button while you're there.
Hey, this is Logan Bandy.
Hi, this is Zane Frazier.
This is Art Jimerson.
Chris Rainey.
This is Boots Electric, and thank you for joining me on my special guest spot on Inside the Minds podcast, where everybody wants to be if they're smart.
Good field position start, play action. Burr's going to load it up, but he's short on the throw. Intercepted. Dante Marsh has his 30th career interception and a good return back into Ottawa territory. Well, the usually strong-armed Henry Burris comes up short.